Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 5th of November, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the Reserve Bank of Australia left interest rates on hold at 4.35% for the cash rate this afternoon, following a 2-day board meeting. The central bank stuck with its line that it won't rule anything in and it won't rule anything out. Governor Michelle Bullock said underlying inflation remains too high, even though headline inflation is now within the central bank's 2 to 3% target, reflecting energy rebates. Following the announcement, bond markets pushed out the forecast timing for an interest rate cut. They have currently priced in a 41% chance of a reduction in February, though many economists think it could be later. There was little reaction from bond markets, and the AUD pushed slightly higher to be trading just under 66 US cents. Story number 2, the S&P ASX 200 closed down nearly 0.5% today to 8,132 points. Utilities and financials were among the worst performers, in part reflecting that interest rate decision and commentary afterwards. Westpac and Macquarie both were off more than 1.5%. In fact, 17 of the top 20 stocks were lower by the close. The share price of Mineral Resources bounced after the 10% drop yesterday. That's after the board found Chris Ellison acted without integrity. Well, MinRes was up 4% today, so perhaps people aren't as worried about that as they seemed 24 hours ago. And Lifestyle Communities rose after HMC Capital took a 2.7% stake in the leased communities operator. It was up 7%, best of the top 200. Story number 3, the travel scandal isn't going away, with a growing number of MPs saying flight upgrades should be banned. Independents Allegra Spender and Helen Haynes said they'd cancelled their Qantas Chairman's Lounge membership and Virgin VIP memberships. Teal Independent Monique Ryan, she gave up the Chairman's Lounge because, as she put it, of the insidious activities of lobbyists. With an election due by May, it has not been a major topic in question time, perhaps because people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Story number 4, markets are in a bit of a holding pattern globally ahead of the US election. That, of course, kicks off within the next few hours. Apparently, there was a late swing towards Kamala Harris. That's put some pressure on Wall Street. The so-called Trump trade, which pushed up equities, the US dollar, Bitcoin and bond yields, has been unwound just a touch. Gold is steady, trading around record high levels. Oil's higher after OPEC Plus agreed to push back its December production increase, and Iran outlined possible responses to Israel's recent attacks. Brent is back above $75 a barrel. Worth a mention is Nvidia. Just for a few hours today, it was again the biggest company on Wall Street. It's now worth $3.38 trillion US dollars. It jumped after an announcement that it would replace Intel in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's the top 30 stocks on Wall Street. Intel out, Nvidia in. That pushed up its share price. Apple's at number 2, although I've got to say in after-hours trading, that was reversed again. But still, for a few hours, Nvidia was the biggest company on Wall Street. Story number 5, European and US intelligence officials believe Russia is behind a plan that would ultimately place incendiary devices on planes to North America through air cargo shipments, according to a report on Bloomberg. Authorities are taking the incidents seriously, and intelligence agencies are expecting Moscow to try and stage similar acts of sabotage in the future, an unnamed source is quoted as saying. Poland's National Prosecutor's Office said it's investigating the alleged involvement of a foreign intelligence service in sabotage activities on the territory of Poland and other European Union member states. The Wall Street Journal reported earlier this week on Moscow's alleged goal of ultimately targeting the US. As part of an inquiry, authorities have arrested 4 people linked to a sabotage group whose activities include sending parcels containing camouflaged explosives and dangerous materials via courier companies to countries in the EU and the UK. The parcels would ignite or detonate during land or air transport. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 5th of November, 2024. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Wednesday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.